the Winter Soldier and his brand new covert team be able to strike at the villain underworld directly within the belly of the beast itself? Well, let's hop into the pages of Thunderbolts issue number 2 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Bucky and the rest of his team are flying high after the successful assassination of Johann Schmidt the Red Skull, but they're not done yet. With the Skull officially dead, the question becomes who will manage to inherit his massive fortune. Apparently, before Schmidt's death, he was the 8th richest man in the world. And now his treasure trove of Nazi gold could end up making one villain very, very happy. To try and get to the bottom of this, Bucky, along with the 2 widows, White and Black, are sent to infiltrate a hoity-toity party being held at the New York chapter of the infamous Hellfire Club. As it turns out, most supervillains actually still think Bucky is a bad guy following the events of the last Captain America run and the Outer Circle. Also, in a nice bit of continuity, this book remembers that Natasha Romanoff actually has a symbiote right now, and some of the villains like Count Nefario think she's returned to her original villainous ways. That's all really great stuff and wonderful connective tissue if you're a longtime comic reader, but for my money, the bit of this issue that really makes me smile is getting to hear what all these villains actually think about the Red Skull now that he's dead. Oh, I mean, he was so tedious, right? Really sucked the air out of the room. Like, who could even watch a 4-hour live stream about racism hosted by a man whose face couldn't move? I mean, oh sure, my kids loved him and everything, but Fourth Reich, we all know the future of fascism is in cryptocurrency, duh. Winter Soldier and the Widows eventually discover that this party is being thrown by none other than the brand new White King of the Hellfire Club, Wilson Fisk the Kingpin. In a rather interesting bit of characterization for old Willie over here, he actively decries the Red Skull as a war criminal and a Nazi, saying that he will not be celebrated here within the club halls. Perhaps showing that marrying a mutant in Typhoid Mary fighting alongside the X-Men in their battle against Orchis has maybe woken up the Kingpin to some societal ills. Though, in reality, that's just what the White King is saying publicly. In reality, it actually is Wilson Fisk who is overseeing the transfer of the Red Skull's vast fortune via a mostly forgotten 70s Marvel character called the Living Vault, who, if his name wasn't a dead giveaway, actually has a whole alternate dimension inside his chest. He can put stuff in it, and only he can take it out again. Which naturally makes him an absolute boon to the white-collar money criminal set. Winter Soldier and the Widow Twins decide to split up to cover more ground. Natasha and Yelena have a very fun sibling rivalry moment wherein they both battle their way to the roof, while Bucky opts to buy the sister some time by actively going and accosting Wilson Fisk himself. This is actually great too because Lanzig and Kelly remember the last time that Winter Soldier and Kingpin met was in the pages of the special tie-in issue for Devil's Reign, wherein Kingpin actively left Winter Soldier dead. So yeah, Bucky has some scores to settle for sure. And in classic Kingpin fashion, once he feels the walls closing in around him, he decides to use his authority to get all the other patrons of the Hellfire Club party to attack Bucky. Hey, they might still think he's a villain too, but it's not exactly like there's any honor amongst thieves to go around in a place like this, am I right? All the action eventually convenes upstairs, wherein the Living Vault is quickly transferring all of the Red Skull's Nazi gold into his chest. This is also actually kind of a big moment for me because I have yet to actually see Black Widow make use of her brand new symbiote powers, and I gotta say, the suit is cool, and also she can create smaller little spiders that she sends out to do her bidding. Actually, it's Natasha who ends up really saving the day on this one. She jumps inside the Living Vault's chest and sets a bunch of explosives. The new Thunderbolts team might not be able to heist the Nazi gold like they wanted, but at the very least they can make sure that no one else gets their grubby hands on it, blowing up the Living Vault and giving Wilson Fisk a nice black eye for the road. If nothing else too, the mission ended up not being a total bust. First and foremost, Bucky and Natasha actually get a little hot and heavy through all of this action and end up reigniting their ages-old romance. Moreover than that, Bucky was actually able to get some good information out of the Kingpin before they kicked his ass. Apparently, he was moving the money for someone claiming to be Schmidt himself, meaning that maybe the Red Skull isn't nearly as dead as everyone believed. Contessa, using her own list of contacts, manages to zero in on a neo-Nazi puppet organization that has remained active even while all of Red Skull's other puppet groups have gone dark. Obviously, Bucky wants to go after them next to make sure that his most hated foe really is 6 feet under. There's just one problem. This neo-Nazi group just so happens to be situated within the borders of Latveria, meaning that if Bucky wants to deal with the Skull, he's going to have to also deal with Dr. Doom. And so that was Thunderbolts issue number 2, everybody, and even though I'm kind of late covering this second an issue I'm really glad I did because everything I enjoyed about issue 1 returns here and then some. I love how Lanzig and Kelly really managed to weave a ton of different continuity from a bunch of different stories and use it here to strengthen the narrative in Thunderbolts. We get everything that's been going on with Kingpin and X-Men, some callbacks to Devil's Reign, and even Natasha and her current symbiote situation. It's all really good stuff. More than anything though, I think I'm enjoying that 2 issues in, and so far this series seems to have a one-and-done approach to storytelling, something we just simply do not see anymore in comics. I have to wonder too, even though this new Thunderbolts team seems to be big, every mission doesn't include every member of the team, just the members most suited to do the job, and I wonder if that's also going to be a thing moving forward. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one an 8 out of 10. I didn't think anything could fill the void left in my heart by Kelly and Lanzig's Captain America run, but I think this new Thunderbolts book might just do it. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.